Starting now, we're going to do something different from this to this. Yes, it is a rock. I just had to do something different today because I just felt like this is what I was in the mood for. So this is just a plain old rock, and I have taken it and scrubbed it clean, and after that I dried it and then I sanded it. The sanding makes it a little bit smoother so it's easier to paint on. I use a very coarse sandpaper to do this, and it works really great. Now I did this on a rock, but I'll tell you what, why don't you take my ideas that I have on these rocks and try putting them on a canvas and paint them yourselves. And you can change it any way that you like and use any colors that you like. I'll tell you what, today I'm mostly going to let you just watch the video and listen to some nice relaxing music while I paint. I don't know about you, but I get really tired of listening to myself talk. So I thought maybe a little silence once in a while would be pleasing. So I'm using acrylic this time. I could have used my water mixable oil paint, and I do that frequently. I'll use water mixable oil paint to paint rocks. But acrylics are really great for rock painting because they dry very fast. I have a lot of rock followers, and I have a lot of acrylic followers too. So that's the reason every once in a while I like to do something different. With rocks, as well as with the canvases that I paint on, I start with the furthest distance away and then I work my way forward. So in this case, it's the moon and the mountain. They are way in the distance. With a little bit of contrast, the further away an object is, the lighter it is. And that's why my mountain is a lighter color. The closer the objects are, the deeper the color gets, like for example, grasses. And as you can see, I'm starting the grasses now. Talking a little bit about perspective, the further away an object is, the smaller it is. But as an object gets closer, it's going to get larger. For example, like the trees, which I'll be just doing in a few minutes. So notice that I put the deep color in first, the really dark grass, and on top of that I'm just adding a little bit of the lighter color to bring it forward some, to highlight and bring it forward. You know, a lot of people ask me why I post some of the same things on both YouTube and Facebook. Well, the reason is because people that follow me are on different social medias. And not everyone is on Facebook and not everyone is on YouTube. So a lot of times I'll post something, the same thing or something similar, so that both social medias will be able to enjoy it. Notice that I'm just building up this color little bit by little bit. You know, I have a question for you. Do you ever lose your ambition to paint? Just think about that for a minute. It happens to me a lot, especially since the loss of my husband and my daughter, the losses of all my friends that I've had this past year and a half. I go through a lot, and I do lose my ambition to paint. But you know what I do when that happens? I'll just take out my paint and I'll put it on the palette. I'll just spread it out on my palette. Once the paint is on, I don't want to waste it, so then I'll just start putting something on the canvas. Another thing I do is I look at photos a lot, and I'll watch other artists paint. I'll watch how they do things and what they use, and I'll listen to them talk. I always find that that's very inspiring for me. And if you are losing your ambition every once in a while, you might try this. Just look at photos and watch artists. Look at paintings. Look at pictures. Just go out, maybe take your own photos. Right in your own neighborhood, you can find really exciting things to paint. And take those photos and then make a composition of your own and put it on a canvas. Now here I'm using a little bit of red because red and green are complementary colors to each other. And I feel like sometimes grass needs to have a little bit of that red color just to change the flavor some. It always makes it more interesting. See, now you notice I painted the background trees first because they're in the distance and they're very small. They're very short. Now I'm going into the larger trees and I'm going to paint 3 evergreen trees. And so I'll just start with the trunk and then I'll add the branches. And these are larger trees because they are much, much closer. And when you put these large trees in front of that mountain, it pushes the mountain way back. Trees are the one thing that people seem to have the most trouble with. Excuse me. And on my YouTube channel, I have quite a few tree videos that will help you with painting trees. And I use different kinds of brushes. I don't always use the same kind of brush. Here I'm just using a small flat brush. A lot of times I'll use a fan brush. And I love a filbert brush also for doing trees, evergreen trees. See where their moon is? Pull out some shadow on the bottom in the direction that the shadow would be. See, now adding adding the tree trunks. and a few little sticks and twigs in the background. And I have a lot of requests right now for different things that people have asked me to paint, and I have an ongoing list. And soon, very soon, I'm going to get started on all these things. I know there's a lot of people that want to know a lot of different things about painting. And that's what I'm here for, is I'm here to help. These particular rocks that I'm painting right now, they are going to go to 3 very special people. And I guess that's all I can say. Is this is just 3 very special people that we just met recently, and we felt like this would be a really, really nice thing to do for them. And my sister did 3 rocks also. And actually, she's designating her rocks to the different people, specific rock to a specific person. With me, I'm just going to say, which one do you like the best? The first one gets first choice, the first person. And then each person after that gets another choice. So now I want to highlight this so it comes out even brighter. My lighting is not probably the best for this because I don't have a light on. I'm just kind of by a window, so I have a lot of shadow. But it was the best I could do on a short notice. And as always, remember to like and share my art with your friends. That's the best way you can support my channel. Sharing and liking is really a wonderful thing to do for any YouTube creator. Now this is what these rocks are looking like before they are actually finished. To finish them off, what I do, or what my sister does, well, what we do, is we put a resin on the rocks, and it makes all the rock part looks dark. These look just like a rock, but once you put the resin on, it turns into nighttime. It's just very interesting the way that happens. So anyway, this is the finished rocks. I'll give you a close-up view. I really like this middle one. That's my favorite. Well, blessings, and thank you for joining me today. Bye-bye.